So in this problem, we want to take the general form of the equation of a circle and put it into standard form. That way we can easily pull out the center and also solve for the radius and be able to graph our circle. So here you see the the general form. The general form looks like this, which is what our problem looks like, where we have ax squared plus y squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0, where c, d, and e are all just numbers or constants. And then we want to put it into this form where h and k represent the center, so not negative h or negative k, but h and k, and then the square root of r squared is going to be our radius. So we're going to rewrite this. In order to do this, we need to complete the square not once but twice. So I'm just going to rearrange this first to say x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 2y is equal to 20, where we just add 20 to both sides first and then rearrange and say x squared plus 4x, and we're going to leave some space here to complete the square, plus y squared minus 2y, leave some space, is equal to 20. And we're going to skip over to a different page here to remind you how to complete the square. So there's two versions here, and these are just simple quadratics, where if we were to graph this would give us a parabola like you see here. And we're interested in taking it from this form, completing the square from this form here, and completing the square. And this is just standard form, and putting it into vertex form, which we could identify HK here being the vertex. And you could easily graph this. So there's two ways here. Notice here we have y is equal to, and over here it's set equal to 0. So the completing the square process is done just slightly differently. We'll start over here on the left. The first thing we would do is add 7 to both sides and leave some space here like you saw me do on the first page. So x squared minus 6x, leave some space to complete the square, is now equal to 7. And over here, though, we would leave this because we're not going to add 7 because that would give us y plus 7. We're going to do all of our configuring on the left-hand side here. So we would just write this and say x squared minus 6x, leaving some space, minus 7 is equal to y. So then, coming back here to the left, here's the process of completing the square. As we take this coefficient on the second term and we divide that by 2. So negative 6 divided by 2, this is equal to negative 3. And then we're going to complete the square by squaring it. So negative 3 squared becomes positive 9, and we would add 9 here, but what we do to one side we have to do to the other. So then, because this is a completed square, we can write it in the form x plus or minus some number all squared. Well, this is the number, and it is negative 3. If we were to FOIL that out, it would look like x minus 3 times x minus 3, which would give us x squared minus 3x plus 9, and giving us x squared minus 6x plus 9, which is the trinomial, that perfect square trinomial we have here. So x minus 3, we've completed the square, and then on this side we get 7 plus 9, which is 16. And if we wanted to solve then for this, we could just take the square root. If we were trying to solve for x, we could take the square root of both sides, leaving us with just x minus 3 on the one side is equal to both positive and negative 4 on the right. And then add 3 to both sides, and we get positive 4 plus 3 and negative 4 plus 3. So my two values would be 7 and negative 1 would be my answers. Over here, though, we would do the same process. We would, again, divide by 2, giving us -3, which we would square, and we would add 9. But in order to make sure that we still have a good equation, if we add 9, we also have to subtract 9, so that my overall change to the left-hand side is 0. So 9 minus 9 is 0. I haven't changed the left-hand value. But now I can rewrite this as x minus 3 squared minus 16 is equal to y. And then from there I can deduce the vertex and graph my parabola. Well, we're going to use that same process over here. So now that we know, we're going to kind of move through this quickly. This is going to be 4 divided by 2 is equal to positive 2. So this becomes x positive 2 squared. And then this needs to get squared, so we're going to add 4 here and also add 4 to the right-hand side. Same process. Let's do it in a different color here. -2 divided by 2 is -1. So now we get y minus 1 squared. But we're going to square that. Make sure if you're putting it in your calculator you use parentheses. You should never get a negative number when you're squaring. So -1 squared is +1, and we would also add 1 here. So on the right-hand side we get 20 plus 4 plus 1, which is 25. And now I'm in my standard form here, and I can pull out h is equal to -2, k is equal to +1. Remember, it's the opposite of the sign we see on the inside. And then, of course, the square root of 25 is +5. So the radius is +5. The reason it's positive is because it's a length. And then we could come to -2, +1 as our center. -2, +1. There, and then we have a radius of 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way, and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. So we would make our circle through these points, and we could draw our circle in, and we're done.